What was that you were saying, Mom? You didn't recognize me on Instagram?
Yeah, that last series of you in that red leather jacket that I hope you're bringing home.
It's not mine.
I was like...
It is not my jacket.
But because I didn't recognize the jacket. I just didn't recognize you. You look so much older, and you just look like a different person.
Who are you?
That makes me sad.
What have you done with our daughter?
No, it makes me sad because I felt really pretty in that picture, and you're being like, it doesn't look like you.
No, you're absolutely gorgeous. You looked older and more mature, and I was like, oh, wow, who's this person, friend of Maggie's? Because I was like, that's not Jenna. And then I went, oh, my God, that's Maggie. Man. But when I swiped to the second picture, then it looked like you. But at first, I was like, oh, I like that jacket. And then, like, who's this friend of Maggie's?
Yeah, no, it is not my jacket. I might take it to Italy, though. We'll see.
No, you shouldn't be taking other people's clothes out of the country, honey.
It's fine.
Well, this is going to be a very busy podcast because we've got a lot to cover. And next week we will be in Italy, so there won't be a podcast. So I have a list of stories and topics and all kinds of stuff to get into. And I can't wait. So can we get started?
Roll that intro music.
Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos. Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos.
So, first off, Maggie, I'm sorry we're starting a little bit late. We were at the bank for hours today, like 3.5 hours. And it would have, we had to straighten out some different accounts and change some things and all of that. But it would have gone a little bit quicker, except at one point, Mom said, "What's the holdup?" And they thought she said, "This is a holdup."
Oh, you had me
so
for a
after
second.
that, it got a little more complicated. But we are okay. We were able to talk them down. Everybody's okay. But no, banking is not my happy place. You could say that.
It was happy for the first hour, then hour and a half, then it got into
But was it
2.
really?
And then we saw some old neighbors right next to us, and I recognized a voice, and I look over, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Sue," and she's like, "Hey," and anyway, it was fun. We had a little neighborhood reunion right there in the bank.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they were in and out, and we were still there. But it was a complicated thing. Estate planning can be, time consuming. You just got to get it right. You got to put in the work, man.
It can be
Put in the work.
It can be time consuming and boring. So let's not talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so boring.
That's not. I couldn't believe he brought it up, and then now I know why. It was because he was making a joke.
I was making a joke.
I know.
He's been practicing that one for hours.
I was really nervous too. I didn't want to screw it up. But what we're doing is we're trying to simplify our planning so that when we die, it won't be complicated for you and Eddie.
Let's not talk about that, guys. What the heck? These topics suck.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway, so what's better? Oh, all the metronomes are gone. We sent the metronomes. They went pretty quickly. There were a few people that wanted metronomes that we didn't have extras, and so I sent them emails and let them know. But the 5 metronomes that we signed together in Atlanta went to Peyton, Jessica, Arvind, Emily, and Fernando. So they're not great metronomes, but they come with a great amount of affection and appreciation for your listenership.
My signature was not very great either.
They're black metronomes, and so we couldn't sign the metronomes with a black pen. Stephanie did tell me she thinks she did have a silver pen at the office.
I knew it!
But we couldn't find it at the time, so we signed the boxes. So
they look really cool from a distance. I'll just say that. So that's why I gave up my metronome.
Yeah.
I had claimed one. I donated it back.
If you want to avoid the boring, basic, and bland gifts this year, Uncommon Goods is your secret weapon. Uncommon Goods is here to make your holiday shopping stress-free by sourcing the globe for the most remarkable and truly unique gifts for everyone on your list.
We're talking moms, dads, teens, in-laws, besties, your one and only, and it's not just stuff you can find anywhere. Uncommon Goods has unique and creative gifts, often handmade by independent artists and makers. So skip the gifts that scream last minute and find something truly original at uncommongoods.com. So Mom was on the website today, and she was looking at some of the bath products.
Yes, those
Oh, yeah.
those body scrubs. I had gotten some as a gift, and I finally used it this last weekend. I felt like I was at a spa. The smells, the texture of it, oh my God, it was heaven. So I definitely want more of that.
Okay,
And
we got you covered.
I highly recommend them.
When you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting small artists and independent businesses. These fine products are often made in small batches, so shop now before they sell out this holiday season.
Looking for a gift you won't have to worry about getting lost in the mail? Uncommon experiences are more than virtual classes. They're unexpected opportunities to have fun and connect in new ways, from cooking to mixology classes, crafts, gardening, and much more.
Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the US. They have the most meaningful, out-of-the-ordinary gifts anywhere.
So, to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/chaos. That's uncommongoods.com/chaos for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. So the plan was, when we got back from the bank, to take the dogs to the park on a walk, because they were in the house a good bit today while we were at the bank, and that's been really important time for us as our walking time at the park, and then to get that done before dark, do the podcast, and then go give blood. But I got home, put the dogs in the car. Mom's still gone. Mom's still running some errands. Put the dogs in the car, and the key to the car was in the car with the dogs. And I go inside to get some different shoes. I come back out, and Simon has locked the car.
No.
Like, he pushed the lock button and locked himself in the car. And I'm sitting there going, what are we going to do now? Like, I guess we're not going to go on our walk at the park. Sorry.
Yeah, and I had the other key in my pocket because I had taken him on a walk in the neighborhood earlier, and I got the leashes out of the car, so the other key was in my pocket.
So I kept trying to get him to re-push the button. I'm like, Simon, come here, buddy. Here's a treat.
While I'm on the phone.
I showed him a treat. I'm like, here you go, buddy. Just climb up here. I know I don't normally want you to climb up here, but I do now. Climb up here and just push that little button. You did it once, you could do it again, son. But I couldn't. So I had to wait for Mom to get home. By then, it was pouring down rain. So actually, it would have been a really bad thing for us to be in the park walking in the rain. Not a bad thing, just a different thing.
But it reminded us of the time that we locked the keys in the van. I don't think it was running, though, was it?
No. I don't think it was
running, but we were leaving Grandma's house. This was Eddie just turned 24, so it was almost 24 years ago. It was 22 and a half.
Yeah, he was a really little kid.
He was about a year and a half old.
He wasn't even speaking yet. And so what happened was the keys were locked in the car, and this was a minivan, like we've always had minivans in your life. This one was, the older models, though, sometimes they had these side flap like windows that opened kind of like back. Fish gills in the back, and they only opened a little bit, like a crack to vent out the air. And so you could open it, and you could open the back, and they were very convenient when you were going down the road. And those were open, but all the other windows were rolled up. And so we're like, well, what could we do? How could we get pull it back?
Was there anyone in the car?
There was nobody in the car.
Okay.
But you could open the windows, like you could pry them open, but it was nowhere big enough that a normal human could, an adult human could squeeze their way into the car, which is good.
I remember this story.
About 8 inches or so, maybe.
So some of us,
not me.
Maybe me and my dad. I think Andy was there.
I think it was Andy's idea.
It was Andy's idea. It was like you could probably put Eddie through that hole, and then have him unlock the car from the inside.
Which I thought was a joke.
Yeah, and we're immediately like, this is
a
great idea. Of course, Eddie was sleeping at the time.
Aww.
He was asleep.
Yes.
And so we were like, okay, so we wake up Eddie and let's think this through. And Chili is like,
no,
I do not want you to do this with the baby.
Yeah, because he was he's not even speaking at this point. He knows mama. That's about it.
But he was very smart. He was very capable.
He didn't even say anything as they're explaining to him. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put you in the window. And I'm thinking he's going to think you're punishing him or something. I don't know what he's going to think, but it's like, and they're like, we're going to put you in there, and we want you to go to the front and unlock the window. Okay, first, do any of these words make sense to him? I don't think so.
Well, I think, but here's how we approach it.
First of all, pull the button up.
I want all our listeners to know it was not a hot day. There was no like danger.
Oh, it was nighttime.
It was nighttime.
Evening.
It was cool out. It was a beautiful Georgia evening. And what so what I said to him was
he had on a coat.
Okay, buddy, we really need your help. We got a special mission for you. This is super exciting, and you're going to go on a little adventure. Like you're going to be the hero today, or something like that. I kind of pumped him up, and we did convince Mom like at least let us try this. Of course, what we're going to do. And then the other worry was he would crawl in the car and go back to sleep.
That's what I thought he would do.
Yeah,
and then I was like, no, that's not okay. You know.
End of the story, like we opened it up, we got him in and lowered him down to the ground, and he like, okay, Eddie, great. We're all cheering him on. Go this way, yay, yay, yay. Now right here, up on the seat, push the button, and he pushed the button, unlocked the car, and it was like Eddie was the hero.
He did it super fast.
It was less than a minute.
Yeah, he just immediately, but he never gave us any clue that he understood what the heck was going on.
And then he went back to sleep. So that's
why I was so panicked. And it was like, and he just like, without a word, he just, as soon as they let go of him in the car, he just went right up to the front and did what they said.
Imagine he did like go into the car and just go back to sleep, and then you have to call like the firefighters, and they're like, "Oh, so how did he get locked in the car?" And you guys are like, "Oh, well, he didn't get locked in the car. The car was locked, and you see, we had this idea. Like, can you even imagine?"
Yeah.
At that point, you're better off just lying.
At that point, we probably would have lied.
But I tell you what, Eddie always, like, he wouldn't say much, but he understood. And so this is absolutely true. When he was 2 years old, we taught him how to use the VCR. Because we knew that if we taught him how to use it... That was like a DVD player, kids. That's where you put in a VHS tape.
Which was like old Netflix.
Yes. And so we taught him how to do that because we knew if he understood how it worked, he'd never just break it just trying to figure it out. But we didn't think he was necessarily ready for the Blu-ray player because that was expensive, fancy stuff at the time. So when he was 3, we taught him the Blu-ray player. And so whenever we had babysitters, you know how complicated everything became because you've got to choose different channels. You've got to, if you want different sources, if you want the Blu-ray versus the cable versus the VCR. And so when we'd have babysitters, we'd say, if you want to watch something, ask Eddie. And they'd be like, really? Ask the 3-year-old. We're like, trust me, he will get you wherever you want to go. Oh, man. And it was true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Maggie just tackles her brother. I'm taking you down, boy.
I was more a let's play Barbies babysit girl.
Yeah, with the babysitters. But you played sword fighting with Eddie all the time. I have a picture of you in a princess dress sword fighting Eddie.
Yeah, I was a big sword fighter.
Yeah.
So, any highlights for you this week, Maggie?
I went to a Spotify Wrapped party, which, oh my gosh, wait, did I? I didn't talk about the premiere I went to. Because...
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to hear that story about you.
Two things. Don't say anything. Why would you say that? Whoever's editing, cut out him spoiling it. But basically, I went to a premiere for this movie called Something from Tiffany's. It's a new Amazon Prime movie, Christmas movie. Zoe Deutsch, Reese Witherspoon's production company did it. Really, really good movie. So cute, so sweet. We were told to arrive from 5:30 to 6 so we could walk the carpet before the premiere. And me and my friend Sterling, we showed up at like 6:10. And we knew we were late, but we went up and we were like, do we still walk? Like what? And the people running it were like, yeah, walk, come with us. And so they take you to like where you're going to walk the carpet and everything. And they hold us for a second because the reason they wanted us to walk from 5:30 to 6 was because after 6, the cast started walking.
Yeah.
And so we fully like walked the carpet with the cast. Like Shay
What?
Mitchell went right before us. Like we were next to like Reese Witherspoon. Like it was like,
Oh, so awesome.
but we were like, what are we doing here? Like this is so wrong.
Did you wave and smile and like
No,
play it off?
it was so. I'm trying to get better at having my picture taken. I get nervous. It's really overwhelming. People are like yelling at you a bit, and like not necessarily like mean yelling, but just like very like. It's people yelling at you to do different things, and so I'm trying to get better at that. But yeah, it was really funny. I was waiting for Sterling to walk, and I was just like standing 5 feet from Reese Witherspoon, and I was like, "What the heck?" And then one of the girls, they had like people waiting too. I guess I don't really know what for. Probably to like see the cool people who were there. And one of them like asked to take a picture with me. They were like, "I love your videos." I was like, "What the heck? You know who I am? Like, do you not see that Reese Witherspoon is right there?" But yeah, her name was Jessica. She was very nice. And then we went and we got to go see the movie, and it was incredible. I hadn't seen.
can't wait to
I
see
called
it.
you guys after. I said I think you guys are really gonna like this movie.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of really good Christmas movies, and I think this was a really good Christmas movie. So that
Wonderful.
happened.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah, and then like 2 days later was Spotify does a Wrapped party every year. Last year it was epic. Gwen Stefani performed at it. It was so fun. And this year Charlie XCX performed at it. But they did something different where the performance part of it was like everyone at the event and then like also just a concert. And so there was like general admission and like we didn't even fit in the room. Like we were like 20 feet outside of the room, like, woo, so sick. Just because there were so many people there. But that was really fun. When we first walked into the event, we heard someone DJing. And we were like, who's DJing? And we walked 10 feet and we saw it was Paris Hilton.
Oh,
Wow.
That's amazing.
Just in a little glitter dress with some like glitter headphones on. And she kept saying a word. I forget what word she was saying. I don't know. It was really interesting. And I asked my friend, I was like, do you think she's actually the one DJ like doing all the stuff? And he said, absolutely
Versus
not.
a lookalike.
No, like it's a pre-mixed track or whatever. But that was wild.
But it was really her, or
Yeah.
or
Yeah, it was
was
really
it a
her.
lookalike?
No, it was her.
Oh wow.
I kept making a joke that at the Apple Music Wrapped party that it was Perez Hilton who was DJing. They couldn't get Paris, so they got Perez.
I'm sure they get confused all the time.
Oh yeah, they're so similar. No, but there was a Ferris wheel that we did. There was this like spinny ride. There was this carnival game where you had to like shoot water, and Jenna won, Matthew Nichols won, so many of my friends who were there won, and I didn't win, but it's okay.
What did
I'm
they
not-
win? Water?
A stuffed animal. That's really cute. So honestly,
cool.
I probably didn't need another stuffed animal, but all around it was a really fun, sweet night.
That sounds really, really cool.
So Maggie's hanging out with Reese Witherspoon at premieres and going to Spotify parties.
No.
I, on the other hand, had jury duty.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I had jury duty last week, and it was, you know what? I was so in the mindset that it was going to be a great experience, and I was very different than last time. So I've been to jury duty a few times, and I've been like trying to have the mind that I want to get out of it. This time, I had already missed work that I had turned down speeches, and so I was like, look, I already blocked this week for this, so I'm going to go for it. I'm going to be a good citizen, open up my mind to like do this thing. And I was really hoping that I got selected, which was very interesting to be in that crowd of people with that mindset, because there weren't very many people I could tell that were thinking that way about it. Like there wasn't a lot of competition, for eager jurors. And it was very different for me too. Well, bottom line was I was there for a day and a half. And I was like, in a jury pool. We were placed in a jury room for the selection process. And it was a really complicated case. It was a criminal case, armed robbery.
Wow.
It was going to go
Are you
for
allowed to talk about this?
I'm not going to say any other details, but it was going to go at least the full week and probably some of the next week. But they didn't finish the jury selection because it settled, like there was a plea deal or something like that. So, I went home kind of bummed, but felt like, hey, at least I tried. At least I did my civic duty.
Yeah. Right? They didn't even select me for jury duty, so.
That's okay.
And
if they did, you'd have to fly home, so that would be tricky.
Well, no.
Oh,
remember when I did fly home for jury duty, and I posted a TikTok about it, and so many people were like, "Well, yeah, in that outfit, they wouldn't have picked you." I was wearing like jeans and
a hoodie or something,
and like
right?
a tank top bodysuit and a hat, and I was like,
yeah.
They were like, "You were dressing so you wouldn't get picked." I was like, "Be quiet. That's no." No, I have limited clothes when I'm home.
Yeah, you could tell the people who don't want to get picked and, who are deliberately saying things that don't get them picked.
Well, never mind. I won't go into it.
You won't out what I did that one time?
No, it wasn't you. It was about some other people. And the judge was like, sit down, you're in.
Well, and it's not like you could just answer a question and then you're immediately out of it. Like they want to grill into your answers more and that type of thing.
Well, I didn't even get to that point. They didn't ask me one thing. They just said, you can leave.
I didn't even get called in. I just kept getting you're not needed today. Check back tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, it was like, you're done for the week. Thank you for your time. So I didn't get a check.
Maybe one day I will get to go to jury duty. That would be amazing. But what I have been doing, of course, a lot of is walking the dogs. That's been a really great experience always, like we talked about.
You and Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
Walking the dogs.
And ever since Thanksgiving, when my cousin Andrea kind of turned me on to this, I've been earthing.
No.
I've been earthing when I walk the dogs. Which sounds like a fancy way. It's all it is your fancy way to say you take your shoes off and you walk on the
barefoot.
dirt. You walk barefoot through the woods. And, I like it. I think it's pretty cool.
It's a public park.
What does that mean?
It means it's weird.
Well, I'm in the woods. It's not like people are even really seeing me. I have yet to see anybody who noticed that I was had my shoes
they
off.
Noticed.
Well, but you know the theory, right? It's like when you're barefoot and your skin
you're more
is touching
connected to the earth. Yeah.
Yeah, and to the earth's magnetism, and is drawing toxins potentially out of your body. And I actually looked it up to tell people more about it. And obviously, like what could this hurt you? It
could hurt you. You could step on something that can go into your foot, a rusty nail, and
bacteria.
Right.
A Bodark. My sister stepped on a Bodark needle when she was a teenager and had to get on antibiotics because it got infected and it was really bad.
Okay, well, forget I asked
So
that
things
question.
can happen.
Let me talk about the upside.
Speaking of the earth and connecting to the earth, I heard about something yesterday. I think it's in July, like July 12th or something. People are trying to organize everyone to jump at the same time on the earth.
To see if we can knock it off its axis?
I don't think so. They called it like man's jump for joy, mankind's joy jump or something. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
That sounds kind of fun. Well,
if you
do it barefoot, because some of the other benefits of earthing, which is also known as grounding, get this. I got this from the websites, so it's legit. Like 3 different sites confirm this. Reduces fatigue and increases energy, reduces chronic pain, reduces inflammation, faster recovery from exercise. It can enhance and elevate your mood, unless you stop on a rock or in some dog poop. It reduces blood pressure, hypertension, supports your heart systems, improves sleep. And I learned about this. I heard about this from a couple different people. Most recently, Martin Johnson, Philip's cousin, who was a big proponent. And what it says is grounding connects the body to the Earth's natural field of subtle negatively charged free electrons and that neutralizes the free radicals, which are the unpaired electrons in your body. But I kind of just like it because it feels good, it slows me down, and I feel in a way more connected to the dogs because now I'm walking kind of more at their pace, and we're all walking on our paws, which is kind of nice.
You could just stand in the backyard barefoot, not
Yes, you
go
totally
out in
can.
public.
They even have ways that you can earth indoors. Like they make products that give you the same way to...
It's called a drill. You just drill down through your house to the ground.
I'm not sure. I didn't look into that too much, but they probably sell you like a tub of dirt to stand in.
But does
or
it
something.
have to be your feet? Maybe you're supposed to stand on your head if you get like migraines. Like
Or just lay down. Just lay in the grass.
That sounds nice.
Sounds good to me.
Like the time Maggie took a nap in the yard while she was waiting to surprise you. Well, surprise us, and then I saw her.
When I flew
you
home
snuck
without
home?
telling anyone.
That was so fun.
That was
Yeah, you were getting grounded and didn't even know it.
that was brutal. That was a little brutal.
Yeah.
I was so tired.
I'm sure it was a lot better in your head, but it was great for us.
Yeah.
We were so excited.
I am becoming a little bit concerned with my pain tolerance.
In a good way or bad way?
Is concerned ever good?
Well, concerned that your pain tolerance is decreasing, and so you can only handle less pain
No,
is more concerning than being able to handle more pain.
I have a very high pain tolerance.
Okay. Yeah, I used to.
And I'm not ticklish.
I doubt that seriously.
No, I'm not ticklish. And here's the thing. I remember being ticklish when I was younger because I'd be like screaming from being tickled because I was like I didn't like it. And now I think my body was just like, yeah, that sucks. Let's not be ticklish anymore. And you can't tickle me. I don't laugh.
How about that?
And
Oh man.
and
How do you feel about that? Is it like, I conquered tickling, or do you feel like you've lost something nostalgic?
people think it's very weird.
People
are like, what do you mean
people
you're
probably
not ticklish?
want to try to prove you wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, and then that's
annoying.
That's not fun.
Yeah, but I was talking to some friends the other day about this, and we were talking about how to get someone to not tickle you, and we were saying, like, just be really eager to be tickled. Be like, yeah, go for it. No, like, tickle me, please. Like instantly no one wants to tickle you, because...
You're very creepy about it.
I can still be very ticklish sometimes.
Oh my gosh, your dad's crazy.
You're very ticklish.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in that mode where you're just so ticklish that people can just pretend to tickle you?
Yes.
They don't even touch you.
When the kids are babies, oh my God, it's so fun. It's like you don't even touch them. You just go over and they just giggle and die and just
act like it's coming.
yeah.
It's coming.
No. That's the most fun.
That was the best.
Yeah, I don't think I like being tickled either.
Well, I don't
kind
think
of
most
annoying.
people like being tickled.
No, little kids do. When you're little, it's yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because you can tickle somebody and feel like they're enjoying it because they're laughing, but it's also like they're incapacitated.
Yeah.
And it could be very probably frightening.
Yeah,
on
so if
some
somebody
level.
tries to rob you, you just start tickling them, and then they're incapacitated.
That would be like a good defense class.
Why do you laugh from being tickled? What is it about that, like... Because any other time in your life, you laugh from
Nerves.
things that are, like, funny.
Yeah.
I heard that one time ticklishness was being ticklish. It was also a defense mechanism, and you're ticklish on places of your body that would be vulnerable. So like you get tickled on your belly and under your arms, and it's kind of like instead of a pain response, the ticklish response is another way of you shutting down that activity and saying get away from this. But it's a way that's kind of less detrimental to your psyche than being in pain. But it still kind of comes from that same place of there's something there that you're uncomfortable with. So maybe your lack of ticklishness is just kind of
Because
more
I'm
comfort in your own
invincible.
body. Yeah, that too.
Because
but
I have no
you're more mature. You're
weaknesses.
more comfortable in yourself.
Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? Well, somebody knows. If you know, go out to wholesomechaos.com and you can tell us in the comments or ask a question of your own.
They're just like, oh, yeah. Maggie's a psychopath.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool.
In other news, we had a party that was so much fun. We had our Christmas party, which we've been planning for and looking forward to, at our new house with new neighbors, friends, family, old neighbors from where we used to live. The Mackies from next door came. We had it catered with some killer Persian food. We did Christmas charades at the end of the night. I'd pre-written a bunch of Christmas charades. Our family's really big into charades. We love it.
But it was just a big, group charades.
Yeah, we didn't do like
periodically.
the whole
Whoever wanted
teams
to jump in and do one.
It was just kind of a free for all.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun, and we were like, even though we were the new neighbors in the neighborhood, we were introducing neighbors who had lived next to each other for years or across the street or whatever and had never met. And so it felt like really awesome to be that like connecting source for some of the neighbors in the hood.
Yeah.
And it was just really
I just got invited to a girls' night.
Here?
Yep, tomorrow night.
Good for
Are you gonna go?
You gonna go?
I think so. I literally I saw it just before we started the podcast, so I haven't looked at the calendar. But
Look at you making
Yeah.
friends.
yeah,
So proud of you
Yeah.
guys.
I'm gonna go over and tickle everybody.
No. You go tickle everyone and then go, now me. and just see how well it goes for you.
So, I was curious while we were talking about that. If animals giggle, what do you think? Do you think there's animals that giggle?
I don't think so. Maybe some.
I guess the closest thing to dogs is like when their foot gets in that spasm when you're scratching them. But
Yeah,
That's not
I
like
would
tickle,
think that's no, that's like a scratch. That's like
that's like that feels good.
there are 2 animals known, according to National Geographic, that giggle.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I guess?
She's not even looking this up. She just knows this.
Can I
Yeah,
guess?
Yes.
Monkeys.
Apes. Yes.
Yeah. And I want to say like hyenas. I know that's so weird, but
Rats.
no.
Yes. Did you just look that up?
I did not.
Oh my gosh, you
rats
guys
giggle?
guessed the 2. I did
Rats
not.
giggle.
Yes, I did not think you
Rats
guys
play.
would get that. Mm-hmm.
Ain't no way
So that
rats
should-
giggle. Rats are like.
Mice, rodents giggle.
Have you
Maybe
guys-
even squirrels if they're related?
Have you guys seen the video? It's circulated on TikTok a lot of some people in charge of New York, somewhere in the politics of New York, were making an announcement, and they were like, the rats are not going to like this announcement, but the rats don't run this city. We do. Because it was like about how the rats were like being menaces, but it was said so seriously. And
They're
like,
not going to giggle about this one.
no, but they don't run this city. But that's crazy that rats can literally like be a menace, like menaces to this city. And while everyone's freaking out, like they're laughing at us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They like heard that speech and they were like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes, I don't even want to say this, but it makes like scientific testing on rats more sad because,
Yeah.
these guys could be having a really good time and now they're not.
Well, they're the ones who like to test all the medications for pain. They're like, yeah, give me some of that, doc.
What?
I'll be your guinea pig. When they test new medications.
They often test them on rats.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well,
What do I
I'm
know?
going to be testing some new medications
Nice.
next month
Really?
when I get Lasik.
Are you going to do it next month? You're not going to put it off?
No, it's on the. I already scheduled it. I
Did you
told
get my email?
No. What'd you
Yeah,
email?
we
You didn't get my
We
email?
got some
We-
cautions that maybe you should
we-
wait longer because
we-
your eyes are going to continue to change.
Yeah.
Somebody reached out with a very kind
A listener.
comment through the YouTube video and basically said, maybe you should get some extra recommendations because in your 20s, like your eyes continue to change your whole life. So getting Lasix now, you're going to
definitely gonna
almost
have to do
definitely
it.
going to have to get it again at some point. And so
Not necessarily. The main shift that happens in your eyes is when you do reach like 40, 50, and that's when it's harder to see up close. So what age did you guys get RK?
Your dad was
I was in my
24
20s.
and I was 28.
So that's
yeah, and it
4
worked
years.
out pretty well for me, but then
No,
I
but
got,
that's like the low end.
Because-
they were
because-
saying like 25.
But that's the shift.
After 25.
And so hypothetically, if I get this now, and it's not like my vision is crazy, crazy bad and would likely drastically decrease in these next few years. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of fixing the small bit, and they can always do touch-up surgeries. But hypothetically, the longer I have before that switch and it's harder for me to see close up would be better.
Nice. Well, we support your decision either way, and I trust this came from a recommendation of good friends. And
yeah, I feel good about the people doing it.
I feel good about the people doing it. I just would have looked more into
age-wise.
Age-wise, because 20, your body's still doing stuff.
It's almost my half.
You're probably
birthday.
going to get 4 inches taller. You're probably going to
about that.
Yeah. Well, after the podcast today, we're going to watch our new show, which a lot of people have been into this for a while now, but we've been watching The Chosen. Have you seen that? Any of that, Maggie?
I started the first episode. I didn't watch it all. I want to watch it all because I've heard such good things about it, like very much changing the view of like how you look at Jesus from like being like kind of untouchable to like being your friend and like humanizing him a little bit. I've heard it's like really, really cool for that.
Yeah, well, my friend Glenna, who passed away several weeks ago, talked about her. She was just such an amazing woman and really devout, spiritual woman, and I learned a lot from her in that respect. Well, she loved this show, and it was like, well, if Glenna, who's like a Bible scholar who's been studying it all her life, like she's gonna endorse this thing, then maybe we should watch it too. But it's done at a really high professional level where it's really engaging and entertaining. And yes, like you get to see these characters that you've read about and heard about from Bible stories all your life, but you identify with them in a different way, even before you meet Jesus. So like, you get to see all these other characters. It's just so refreshing, and it is so good, and you're learning more. And for me, it's like it's such a different feeling at the end of the night to watch something that fills you in that way, and then something that's like disturbing or like negative or just like any kind of other entertainment. I feel like we just have to be more careful, like with our psyches and what we're putting in our minds and what we're putting in our bodies, if we're going to be instruments of good in the world. So
we're only going to watch Reese Witherspoon
and Christmas movies and The Chosen.
Yeah.
Or just watch it. Like be mindful of what you take in.
Yeah. And like give yourself time to like process it. That's something I noticed with like I liked House of the Dragon a lot, the Game of Thrones. But you do have to be like, yes, this is incredible violence. And like take that into like consideration.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of like, because it gets to be very, very normal. When it is like all you take in. And obviously, like if you saw that on the street, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like no, that's not normal, that's not okay. But just like in your perception of what you're taking into your mind all the time, yes, be mindful of it, but like I totally get like watching, like I'll watch a horror movie occasionally, and I just kind of like have to like reap the consequences of that as I'm going to bed that night, and like I want to keep the lights on a little longer. I'm like, yeah, I did this. But what you put into your mind, it's a choice. And it's kind of like, what is like, hold yourself to a high standard of like, what is deserving to go into my mind at this point?
Yeah.
Like, do I want it to be something that's, because I have friends who are totally fine with watching scary movies and it does not affect them. And that's great. For me, I know it does affect me. And so just like being conscious and like making that a deciding factor.
Absolutely.
Well, and I don't know that it doesn't affect them. Maybe it's affected them. Like you get numb to it at a certain point. And I was thinking about this morning. This idea. Tell me what you think about this idea. But when you think about how you conduct yourself in the world and society in general, like society is this thing we all create together. It's like a cooperative enterprise. And so we play our part, right? And so we do our part, and some people won't do their part, And in that regard, there's this contrast, and it's your job to create the contrast. And so, like, take the role seriously and accommodate people, like do things that are pick up trash, where others don't. And that's, and it's not okay that others don't, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't either. It's like you create that contrast. Like you drive with some measure of care and respect for other people, even though people are cutting you off all the time. Like obeying laws, following moral principles, like, doing what's right. And I think the other mindset that kind of like ties into this piece with entertainment is this idea that, well, the world is just this way, and we can sort of incorporate all of that into this new idea of society, and then still be like, kind of synthesize all that through who we are, or like just call out and admonish, like, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, And it's like, no, it's like, just do more of what's right, like activate the best within you. And if you try to like incorporate all the negativity and still be good at good, like you can't do that. It changes you in some way. Like, and so like it's harder, but we need to choose more to create that contrast in life. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, because if your focus is just to say, all right, these people are bad and I hate this and I don't like that, you're just adding more negativity. But if you see something and you don't like that or whatever, add some goodness out there. Like to your point, like I read a post today, somebody had posted on Nextdoor saying, thank you to the gentleman who walks down this certain street that she lived on for picking up the trash in my front yard. So she sees this man who's always, he walks every morning, whatever. He saw somebody had thrown trash in her yard and he picked it up and cleaned up the trash just because he was walking. It's not his job. It's not his yard, whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's like, that was something sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Actually, go ahead.
No, that's all I'm saying.
Of the whole, like, I've picked up, I tend to pick up trash when I see it, and it's because something, like, I was told years ago, I forget where or who, but, and this ties into, like, faith, but it doesn't have to, where it was like, this earth is a gift, like, we have dominion over it, take care of it, like, like, the earth is, like, ours, like, take care of it, oh my goodness,
yeah.
And so
it's not somebody else's job. It's our job.
Yeah. And I'll see a piece of trash and be like, do I want to pick it up? And then I'll like picture a little bird choking on it, and I'm like, I have to save them. Yeah. So I saved all the birds. Actually, I did that.
You're so good.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Well, and it's really, and I guess my point is, like, it's easy to get overwhelmed and say, it doesn't matter. There's so much trash in the world. What difference does it even make if I pick up that one? Well, it makes a big difference because you're going to feel better. And so it makes a difference to you. You're like advocating for something you stand for and believe in. And like someone might see you or might not see you, but it's like you create the example. And there's more people doing good than you think. I think the good, definitely there's more good in the world than evil, for sure. Evil's louder, evil's noisier.
It's louder, that's it.
And
people want to yell and scream about that, but people seldom yell and scream about good.
Yeah, absolutely. So be good in the world, my friends. And hey, like I said, we're gonna be in Italy next week, and so we can't shoot a podcast for you. But please, reach out to us. We'd love to come back to a whole bunch of questions.
And content on other socials will still be kicking. I'm very excited for Italy and for just a change of scenery, the creativity that will come. So stay tuned for all those fun adventures.
Absolutely. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast, and maybe tell a friend who might be interested in it so that they can be a part of it too. But that's it for now, everybody. Have a great 2 weeks. Love you, Mags.
Love you, Dad. Love you, Mom.
Love you too.
And we love you, everyone. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye.
Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos. Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos.
So yesterday morning, Jenna and I went to the Levi's house in LA, and they gave us, like Levi's, like the brand.
Yeah.
So
Love
they gave
Levi's.
us
Jeez.
some clothes, and they had someone there who was doing like custom embroidery. And so Jenna and I both had him embroider onto pants for us. And mine, you probably can't see it
Nice.
super well, but it just says June,
June.
with a flower.
Aw.
Isn't that cute?
That is very cute.
So
Very cool. Is that in honor of your Nona June? Or
It's,
your
her
middle name?
is June.
well, now I
I know
feel
it's your
bad.
middle name.
Thanks, Dad. Yep, so it was for my middle name, but now I feel like a terrible person.
No, it could be both. It could be both.